Elon Musk is one of the most studied figures on Earth, yet the way he actually lives is rarely understood. Beyond the headlines, beyond the net worth, there is a private system of homes, machines, and relationships engineered for control rather than attention. This is not the lifestyle people imagine when they think of extreme wealth. It's quieter, more calculated, and far more revealing. Today, we step inside the world Musk keeps deliberately out of view, the environments he chooses, the assets he commands, and the architecture of power that turned vision into dominance. Does the richest man alive live like a king or like a strategist? Comment control if you believe real billionaire life is about command, not display. And like this video, subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. This side of power is never shown twice. Elon Musk didn't come from comfort or certainty. His story starts in South Africa, in a childhood shaped by solitude, fixation, and an unusual tolerance for struggle. While others looked outward for approval, he turned inward, teaching himself, experimenting, and quietly building skills long before anyone was watching. At 12 years old, he didn't just learn how to code. He finished a game, sold it, and learned something far more important than profit. Ideas could be converted into leverage. That lesson stayed with him, not as confidence, but as proof. School wasn't forgiving, neither was social life. Musk was bullied, dismissed, and often underestimated. Instead of adapting to fit in, he doubled down on learning how systems worked. He pursued physics to understand reality itself, and economics to understand how power flows through it. One explained the universe, the other explained control. His first companies weren't lucky breaks. Zip2 and PayPal were pressure tests, long hours, constant risk, and repeated moments where failure was more likely than success. The money came later. What mattered first was endurance. By his late 20s, he had accumulated wealth most people never touch. But to Musk, that milestone wasn't arrival. It was fuel. Because the question was never how to get rich. It was how far that momentum could be pushed. So how did someone who started underestimated, isolated, and dismissed turn early success into an empire capable of reshaping finance, transportation, space, and technology itself? That's where the real story begins. Real power didn't arrive with Elon Musk's first millions. It arrived when he stopped treating success as an endpoint and started using it as a weapon. The early wins from Zip2 and PayPal didn't just give him money, they gave him leverage, credibility, and the freedom to play a much larger game. Instead of preserving wealth, Musk deployed it. He funneled nearly everything he had into ideas most investors avoided entirely. Rockets that might never land. Cars no one believed could scale. Artificial intelligence that raised ethical alarms. Global networks designed to operate beyond borders. These weren't incremental bets. They were all-or-nothing commitments aimed at reshaping entire systems. What made this phase different wasn't ambition alone. It was integration. Each company became part of a larger framework, reinforcing the others. SpaceX wasn't just about space. Tesla wasn't just about cars. Neuralink, Starlink, and AI research weren't side projects. They were pieces of a long-term architecture focused on mobility, intelligence, and survival. The cost was relentless. Endless hours, public failures, financial pressure played out in real time under global scrutiny. But as these ventures scaled, something else happened. Markets began reacting to Musk himself. Entire industries shifted direction. His decisions started carrying weight far beyond any single boardroom. And that's when the story changed again. As influence expanded and power consolidated, the question was no longer how he built the empire, but how a man with that level of control chooses to live inside it. As Musk's influence expanded, so did the expectations around how he should live. The world assumed that extreme wealth would naturally lead to sprawling mansions, visible luxury, and constant display. That never happened. Instead, Musk moved in the opposite direction. While his companies scaled into global dominance, his personal living space shrank. He chose small, functional homes positioned close to his work, places designed for speed, proximity, and focus rather than status. For Musk, housing was never a symbol of success. It was infrastructure, something meant to support execution, not distract from it. This wasn't about frugality, it was about control. Reducing space reduced friction, Fewer possessions meant fewer decisions. Living near SpaceX eliminated wasted time. Even when he owned high-value properties, he systematically sold them, cutting ties with the traditional billionaire image piece by piece. The message was clear: excess slows momentum. In an environment where wealth is usually displayed through scale, Musk treated restraint as leverage. His lifestyle became an extension of his operating philosophy: strip away what isn't essential, concentrate energy where it matters, and stay aligned with the mission at all times. But this simplicity only applies to where he rests. When Musk needs to move, protect, or command space, minimalism disappears entirely. And that's where the real mechanics of billionaire power begin. If Musk strips excess from where he sleeps, he compensates by dominating how he moves. Control, for him, isn't decorative, it's logistical. Time is the most valuable resource in his world, and transportation is how he protects it. In the air, private aviation turns distance into a non-issue. Long-range aircraft aren't luxuries, they're continuity systems. Meetings don't pause, decisions don't wait, and momentum doesn't break just because continents change. Flight becomes an extension of the workday, quiet, sealed, and optimized for focus. Privacy isn't a perk. It's a requirement for operating at scale without interference. On the ground, the same logic applies. While Musk has owned iconic supercars, speed alone no longer defines value. He increasingly relies on machines built for durability, data, and autonomy. Vehicles designed to perform, adapt, and integrate into a larger ecosystem. Even the most unconventional designs follow one rule: remove dependency, increase control. This contrast defines his lifestyle: Spartan living spaces paired with high mobility tools, less comfort, more leverage. Musk doesn't invest in appearance, he invests in velocity, because the faster and cleaner he can move, the more influence he can exert. But machines only solve part of the equation. As power compounds, another dimension becomes harder to manage: visibility. And the closer you look at how Musk protects what the public never sees, the clearer it becomes where true control actually lives. As Elon Musk's reach expanded, something else became harder to manage than companies or capital: exposure. When your decisions move markets and shape industries, curiosity doesn't stop at what you build, it follows you home. Yet, unlike many figures at his level, Musk never turned his personal life into a spectacle. Instead, he drew sharp boundaries and enforced them deliberately. Relationships, marriages, and family choices surfaced publicly only when they had to, often distorted by headlines that captured attention but missed context. Musk rarely corrected the narrative. Silence became a form of control. He revealed just enough to remain human, never enough to surrender ownership of his story. The same independence that defines his work shows up here, resisting social expectations, rejecting traditional norms, and making deeply personal choices without explanation or apology. This isn't secrecy for secrecy's sake, it's authorship. Musk treats his private life the way he treats his companies, as something he designs, not something he reacts to. Names, partnerships, and family structure follow internal logic, not public approval. And as global attention intensified, that approach only hardened. Because when influence reaches a certain scale, privacy stops being comfort, it becomes leverage. And in Musk's world, controlling the narrative beyond technology and wealth is where power begins to compound. At a certain point, wealth stops being the main story. For Elon Musk, that moment arrived when money became secondary to consequence. His personal life stayed tightly managed, but his influence began spilling outward, into markets, politics, culture, and global direction. Every move started carrying weight far beyond balance sheets. A comment could shift stock prices. A decision could redirect entire industries. Attention amplified capital, and capital amplified attention, creating a feedback loop few individuals ever enter. This phase of Musk's life is less about ownership and more about reach. Technology, funding, and public visibility converge into something more potent than profit alone. Large-scale initiatives, public commitments, and strategic interventions signal a shift from building companies to shaping outcomes. Influence replaces accumulation as the primary currency. Money becomes infrastructure. Power becomes momentum. But that level of reach introduces a new tension. When one person can move resources, technology, and public sentiment at the same time, the impact extends far beyond intention. The question is no longer how much power exists, but how it gets used, and what remains after it moves on. Because when wealth evolves into influence, the final measure isn't control, it's legacy. Elon Musk's story doesn't end with money, assets, or visibility. It ends with alignment. Every phase of his life, from stripped-down living to absolute control over movement, time, and attention, points to the same conclusion. Wealth is only useful when it serves direction. Luxury, at this level, isn't about accumulation, it's about precision, choosing what deserves focus and eliminating everything else. This is what the modern billionaire archetype looks like at its peak. Not excess for validation, but systems built to protect momentum, homes designed to reduce friction, transportation designed to collapse distance, privacy designed to preserve leverage, influence designed to compound long after headlines fade. So the real question isn't how much power someone has, but how intentionally they use it. Is true wealth measured in dollars, or in the ability to shape outcomes over decades? Drop your perspective in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into the lives where power, privacy, and influence intersect, make sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.